Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Producer Joe Show. I am Producer Joe. I am very excited about today's guest. Uh, I've known this guy for a long time, and I know that San Diego knows him very well. He's somebody who, I mean, at the start, forgive me for looking at my computer. I still have to push buttons. At the start, basically radio related. And then as I got to know him better, I really got to look up to this guy for the things that he's accomplished, for the things that he's done, and the things that he's still doing. But as they say, without any further ado, Bromo. What's up, buddy?
Look at that ugly mug. Not you, Joe. Myself.
Oh, I was going to say, damn. Yeah, you got me pegged.
Never get used to seeing myself on these things. Never.
Yeah, I'm not really. That's why I'm so far away from the camera. I've been told it looks much better the further I am away. Like League of Their Own when they showed that girl like from a distance.
You have a very crowded little studio, and I've got a couch with a cat right there.
There's the cat. Tell me once again about the cat. How did you come to acquire the cat?
That is Bromita, and she's got one eye missing, and she was found on the highway just outside of Minot on a cold, cold night. She was frozen on the side of the road on one of the slow lanes, and a Facebook friend of mine stopped and rescued her and put it up on his Facebook page that said, "I found this cat. The cat's at the vet right now. We're hoping the cat makes it." So I put my name on a list and waited 3 weeks, and I adopted this cat. So she's with me, been with me ever since.
That's really great. I love that. You're a good man. I mean, animals, humans, you've always been good. And that's certainly, like I said, one of the things that I really respect about you. Viewers, the conversation is open. You can comment on whatever platform you are on. I should be able to see it. And your comment will get posted. Please make sure, and what do the kids say? Smash that subscribe button. Isn't that what the kids say now?
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. Yep. So anyway, how you been, buddy? Everything going good over there in the frozen areas?
Well, it's starting to warm up a little bit out here. We had weather this high 70s over the weekend, and when that happens out here, it's like a parade. People, you see them finally get out of their house, and people wearing shorts all the time and riding bikes, and because the roads are not frozen anymore, and most of the snow is gone, but it rained all day today, and we may have some snow maybe tomorrow, just a light little brush. But it's encouraging because the weather's getting warmer. So I've been good. How about you? The weather's good out there, right?
Yeah, I think we hit 80 today, and we're heading into my time of the year. I don't really do cold weather. I don't do wet weather. I could never live where you are. I would end up like the cat and hope somebody scrapes me up and takes me to your house.
Yeah, I don't like the heat. Every time I go out to San Diego, which is about once a year, I don't like it when it's in the 90s. And it can get hot out here in Bismarck, too, by the way, in the summer. It can get close to 100. I don't do well in the heat. So you and I are entirely different, I think.
Well, let's do a little backtracking here. Tell me what you did before radio and how you got into radio, and then we'll skip ahead a little bit.
Well, so real fast, my dad in Spring Valley came across an ad in the paper for a radio school just starting out called American Dream. And he called me in, and we got on the phone, and of course, the person lied through her teeth. "Oh, yeah, you have a really good voice." "Gee, thanks a lot." And next thing I know, I was the one and only student in Ocean Beach in the back of a tanning salon. I kid you not. And we went through these old college radio school books that he probably found at a garage sale. And our class consisted of us going for about 5 minutes and then going out along the water. And he'd go, "So tell me about chapter." Oh, God, look at that chick. Wow, she's something else. What was I saying? Oh, never mind. So anyway, I got the official, "Hey, you passed," 6 weeks later. And I sent out these little cassettes. They're called air check tapes. And I'll never forget one of my "You're Denied" was in Brawley, California, with a population of about 67. And the person wrote me back, Dear Bromo, thanks for your interest in our radio station, Z whatever. Perhaps you'd be better off in a smaller market. I'm thinking, well, what's smaller than Brawley?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Maybe Hakumba?
Akamba, right. I started work. I got lucky and got an internship with Jeff and Jer.
Yeah.
In the early 90s, and I became helper boy Dave over there for a while. They went to another radio station and I was left there. I went over to Kogo for a while during the Hot Talk era when they started airing the O.J. Simpson trial live on KOGO Hot Talk Radio.
Oh, wow.
And I was in that. You've been in that old building, Joe, that Kearneyville Road building?
Yep.
And there I was running the Howard Stern show, pushing play and record on reel-to-reels at 3 a.m. because Howard Stern started at 6. And, of course, New York is 3 hours different than San Diego. And right across, literally, from me to my wall was Dave's office from Dave, Shelly Chainsaw. And I had never heard these guys before. Remember, I was working with Jeff and Jer, and I really had not a whole lot of experience in radio. And that's all I knew was Jeff and Jer. Within, I don't know, 3 or 4 times I started listening to DSC, that was it.
Yeah.
That guy's brand of humor was my brand of humor to a T. I mean, I'm not as brilliant, not even close as that guy. And I became lucky enough to start doing golf for them. And then I remember right around 98 or so, we made our first golf bet. And I was with them ever since until 2008. For 10 years, Joe, I was with DSC. And let me tell you something, probably some of the coolest moments I've ever had in radio, without a doubt. I got to learn and watch the most talented people in the country.
Sure.
And I think I picked up some of their skills. But Dave and I just got along so great. You know, we'd go out and golf and laugh and just make jokes. And a lot of the jokes we would talk about would come out on the air the next day. As you know, from DSC, a lot of our lives were on the air. I mean, 99% of my life was on the air.
Yeah.
And it worked out really well, I think.
Well, you definitely learned from the best. You know, Dave's a professional. I mean, in my mind, he's a legendary morning show host, and his team around him is really second to none. How he was able to harness them and bring them in, and yourself included. You know.
You know what? I was just the lucky guy to be chosen, sort of lucky enough to be part of that role where I could go out. And well, first of all, I had to learn how to play lousy golf. That was tough.
You had to learn how to play lousy golf.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm pretty much a scratch golfer when it comes down to it. But I had to learn to practice to play really lousy golf. And I did that quite well. And all the golf bets became historic because I lost.
Right. Well, you mentioned some of the bits that you did some bits with them. And you did, we had a quick phone conversation last night. And you did mention the one that actually really sticks out in my mind. It was, see if this works here. I don't do this very much.
That's all right. Yeah.
But this is Mentos in your pants, and you were strapped with Coke bottles. Am I right?
Yeah, I think I had a goatee at that point, too. That was at the San Diego Stadium in the parking lot.
Yeah, and there's the school bus, the old bus, the KGB bus.
You see all those people up on the top, on the roof of the bus?
Yeah.
They were jeering me and they were laughing and they were sneering at me. But I got the final laugh when I was able to control that hose in the back. And I would lean. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Watch this last gasp. It's like a porno movie or something. Watch this last gasp. There we go. It's starting to kick up again. There we go. The last little shot.
And now you're aiming.
Tragically, I think I lost a hat there and a shirt.
It's funny because, oh, by the way, this video is provided by Von Roll. If anybody knows big KGB, big DSC fan, Robbie Von Roll, that's his page right there. Okay, where am I here?
I will never forget that day. Let me tell you something. That was just, those live events at the stadium for Sky Show were just epic. I mean, to walk backstage and watch Dave and Shelly and Chainsaw and Boyer looking at the audience was so mind blowing because there were so many people that were having a blast, having fun.
Sure. Were you there for what I consider to be the greatest April Fool's prank ever?
I was not. No, I had not started working with them yet.
I couldn't remember what year that was, but he faked a space shuttle landing at Montgomery Field. And to me, that was the best I'd ever seen. People flocked there to go see it. And the production value was incredible.
That was in 1990, I think. And you know what? That I've been told that has made many lists of the top 100 April Fool's jokes ever.
Yep, absolutely. It always makes the list. And it just, once again, lends itself to the brilliance, of Dave and his team,
by far.
I mean, they had the audio all prepped up and going. And
brilliant.
But yeah, I just wanted to share that right there. Thanks for the video, Robbie. So anyways, let's fast forward right now, and then I'm going to come back a little bit to why I really, really appreciate you and think that you're just a tremendous human being. What are you doing right now? Right now, you're on the Walleye, right?
I work for a station called 96.5, the Walleye, which is, yes, a fish. It used to be the Fox 2 years ago. They changed the brand name because there's so many people that fish out here in the Missouri River. So there's a big old walleye, big old yellow walleye. And there I am with my Padre hat. I work for a company called Town Square Media. I've been there 4 years. It's in a little tiny place called Mandan, which is just outside of Bismarck. It's 3.5 miles from my house. See the story I wrote today? There's a story I wrote. Part of my job is to write stories. They have us write 2 stories every single weekday. I'm not a great writer, but I try my best.
I did not see it today. I had just gotten home from work and got the show ready. What did you write about today?
I was writing about a promotion that's coming out about Dakota Speedway, and they've had to delay the start. And then I wrote a story about a sign called Merge. What is it called? Gosh darn it, I forgot it now. It's when they tell you to go into one lane nicely. I forgot.
Oh yeah. Merge left.
Sort of like that. By the way, this is not a wedding ring, just for all those people who probably think, what is Bromo married? This is a sobriety ring that won't fit on this ring because I broke this finger playing golf with Dave long time ago. And this is my wedding ring hand. And so I just want to explain it. I forget what the sign is called, Joe, but it's basically a sign that tells people to be nice and get ready to merge into one. And today is the first day of construction. Because the weather's so nice, people are not that happy with the roads out here. And let me tell you something real quick. In San Diego, as you know, it could easily take an hour and 20 minutes or so to go across town from like Alpine to Claremont Mesa Boulevard. Out here, rarely do you see long traffic lines, but when we do, they're not that long, and people still get pretty irate out here. So that's what I do out here. I'm on the air from 9 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. Monday through Friday.
That's a good length. Wow.
I'm also what's called a brand manager, which is like a program director, which blows the minds of so many people that have known me in the past. They're like, wait a minute, you're a program director. You control that station? Kinda.
That's great. Well, you've put in your time. I mean, you definitely you know the ins and outs.
Without a doubt. We put in easily 40-hour weeks. There's no problem. Yeah.
Well, so I'm like I said, I'm going to back up a little bit right now. And when you and I first started hanging out, you invited me to get your sobriety token. And
Yes.
I went out there with you, and my mind was just blown away. And I can't remember things too well anymore, but I remember this night vividly because I remember that you got up to speak, and the guys were just sitting there listening to you, and that, and But then you said, "Oh, by the way, if my voice sounds familiar, I'm Bromo. I used to be on DSC." And I could just feel this collective gasp come through the room, and people were murmuring. And then after the meeting, people were just going up to you, and I mean, you're really an inspiration. And from what I see day to day on social media, you've carried it through. I mean, you're still that. It even shows it on your bio that I had just put up. A perfect day is making somebody laugh and giving back to somebody who's battling addiction. And that day meant so much to me. And I went out there one other time with you, and it was just a really special moment in my life that I will always remember and cherish. And I'm honored that you had me with you.
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. That's huge. It was special for me that you were there. What was really special too was my sister was there for my 4-year birthday token. And she helped me. She gave me that. She had her kids there, and her kids had never heard me speak before. And that was really, look at that. Henry, Molly, and Anna. That's my sister, of course, on my shoulder.
Yep.
And for you and I back then, and not even now, but for me, that was cold that night. It was about 32 degrees out there. Remember?
Yep. It was freezing, especially for me.
Yeah, it was a little cold, and my sister was there, and it was a real honor. And like when I speak, that place is called the Freedom Ranch. It's in Campo, and it houses back then it houses about 40 guys. And the only reason that I wanted to mention who I wasn't trying to brag or anything, but that was part of my story. That's part of how I got sober and how I became 4 years sober at that point. I am now 15. I've actually got a tattoo, if you can believe it, Joe. Isn't that hard to believe?
Awesome. Look at that.
That's my 15-year tattoo with my sobriety date on it. It's one of my passions, and it's one of my things that that I feel real strong about, and I try to share with a lot of people who put up with me and listen to it.
Yeah, you carry it forward, and you're an inspiration. It was just really cool, man. I'm so glad that I was there. And I'm not sure if this was the same night or if this was.
That was a different day. That was when you came and picked me up. Yeah, you came and picked me up in Humphreys, and I was puffing on a big old cigar there.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. And I think I spoke that night too, if that's probably what you remember.
Yep. No, I do. I soaked in every moment of it, and it's a great place. And
poor Joe had to listen to 45 minutes of me blabbing away.
So far, our viewers have been watching you blab away for 18 minutes and 52 seconds. So
good Lord, my apologies. Here's the thing about speaking and sharing. It's a way of giving back, and it's a real honor to be able to do that. Because remember, when I started my sobriety, I sat in those seats. And I sat wondering where my life was going. And I was scared to death. I was mad. I was angry. I didn't think I belonged there. I thought I was some kind of superstar hero that probably had cameras all around following me for some documented thing that was going to air later. And I don't deserve to be here. I don't have a problem. I drank a little bit too much, but why am I here? I denied that for a long time, even up to almost a year of being sober. I still felt like I was being wronged and I didn't deserve all that stuff. I was not modest at all. I hated being in that place. I mean, I hated it every single day. I couldn't wait to get out of there. Ironic thing is when I go to San Diego, man, I'll tell you, if I lived in San Diego, I'd go out there at least twice a week and go to a meeting. I'm telling you, it's my heaven. It's one of the places that saved my life.
Well, I'm telling you, you come out here, we'll take a drive.
It's a neat drive too. You remember, right?
Oh yeah, and then you pass by those skeletons or something along the side of the road, and It's an interesting place, a lot like Acumba.
Well, you roll into a dirt lot and guys are out there playing horseshoes. And I remember the first time I rolled in to stay there and live there, I had nowhere else to go. I mean, I was living with a friend who saved my life as well. And I got accepted there and I went with all my stuff. My stepbrother drove me out there and I was scared to death. I don't belong here. I looked at these guys, these real tough guys, some of them that were from jail that were released to spend time in there. And I'm like, what am I doing here? My life is toast. This is my last
And that's
place.
all part of the process, isn't it? I mean, part of the mental process of the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know, here's the funny thing. I look back at those times and I think about how special and how wonderful that when I went to Pathfinders after I stayed at Freedom Ranch, and just that whole year process that I was away from society was really something else, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's proven right here that it works. Works
Well, I
very
appreciate
well. And now you're an extension and you're doing their work along with them. And I think that's fantastic. I'm telling you, I'll never forget that.
Well,
Really
I
left a
appreciate
lasting
that.
impression.
I'm so glad that it did. And I've been in North Dakota now 10 years, you know? And back in the old days, if I had somebody email me and say, hey, Bromo, man, I saw that bit when you were standing on the corner of 7-Eleven in a thong holding a sign that said, I'm an idiot. My mom and I were laughing so much. When I used to get stuff like that, and maybe today, if I still did get something like that, I would always be grateful. But when I get something like an email saying, hey, man, I saw you speak, maybe that same time you were there, Joe, I still remember that I'm still sober. That to me is the biggest reward of all I can tell you about, you know?
Sure. No, that's really awesome. Speaking of come to San Diego, I know you spend time with Rickards,
Yeah.
and I think that's fantastic. And I know you guys have a really tight relationship, and that means a lot. That's really great.
Well, it means everything to me. It's like my sister who lives just outside of Boston is very special to me. I don't have a whole lot of family left. And Dave has always been, he's been through it. He's been through a lot with me, man. He went through a lot when I disappeared from the show and I disappointed so many people and I was not there to perform. You know, that's easily something that somebody could just walk away from and say, well, you know, it was nice knowing you. But you know how things work and years go by, and I was able to change my life around, and I was able to keep in contact with him years later. And probably one of my greatest memories as well is seeing him for the first time. And we hadn't seen each other in 8 years or something like that. And you remember this, Joe. I told you all about it. I flew out there and he picked me up, and it was like right away, we picked up right where we left off. We went golfing, we smoked cigars, we had a blast, we told jokes, we played cards right there at his table. And the guy's always been a rock with me, always. If I'm feeling low, I'll call him up. And I would hope he does the same with me. But he's like my brother, you know, and he keeps calling me an old man because I'm just a little bit older than him. But he's like my best friend brother, a brother I've never had, easily.
Yeah. No, I love that, and that's the mark of a true man. You know, able to look past what's happened before. Hey, we're in the now. We're working towards the future.
Yeah.
I love Dave. I have so much respect for him, and as I do you.
Well, you're too kind. I appreciate you saying that.
So, and anyways, so is there anything else you want to expand on with the program, or would you like to further further the conversation with radio, or where you see yourself in the future?
Know, it's funny because people are always talking about where do I see myself in 5 years or even a year. And then so many people say radio's dying or radio's dead. The way I see it is I still have a job. I'm still able to, you know, I could wake up like anybody and I can go in feeling really tired or just wishing I could just stay at home because it's minus 20 degrees out. But then I get in front of that microphone And I say to myself, you know, I have a pretty rare position here where I can open up a microphone and maybe try and make people laugh, or maybe tell them what's going on with our roads out here, or tell them what an event we've got coming up. It's a real special thing. And it's something that I'll never, ever, ever take advantage again, because I remember when I was out of radio, and the only job I can get, and I'm grateful for it, I was a bill collector for 3 god-awful years. And let me tell you something. If you're a bill collector, awesome. But that job was not for me. And man, was that one of the hardest jobs. It wasn't radio. It wasn't, there's no glamour to it. It's a great job. You're helping people out if you want to help them with their bills and pay their bills. But when you're on the radio, man, and you're talking and you're feeling good about, and you can share your life, there's no greater high for me. And that still works with me today. And like I said, I don't know where I'll be in a year. I don't know if they'll get tired of me. That's how radio goes. But I'm just so grateful for what I got out here. You know, I miss San Diego like you wouldn't believe. I miss the rolled tacos with guacamole on it. I miss going to a Padre game. I miss the beach and all that stuff. But I also have appreciated the change of seasons out here, and the fact that people have taken me in and been so nice to me and have called me Bromo and this and that, have put up with my California ways. I've been out here 10 years now, Joe, not just one.
Yeah, and you still flaunt the Padres gear, and which I love. I mean,
and the Aztecs, heck yeah, you better believe it.
Thank you. When radio people, there you go. When radio people go to another city, you know, they adopt that team. Of course, their team is still, you know, in their heart, but man, you just keep wearing it, you know. It's
I try. And I've got one hobby I'd like to share if I could. I've got a podcast, and if anybody enjoys listening to podcasts, it's not as elaborate and as cool as yours, because I don't have audio. I mean, I don't have video. I'm not on YouTube. But I have a podcast you can find through all the platforms. God, I'm so lousy with my brain sometimes. Give me some of the platforms, and I'll tell you it's on. They're on it.
Well, is there a website? I can put it up here in the banner.
Yeah, if you go to a 96.5 The Walleye, and I appreciate that, Joe. It's on all the major platforms, but it's on our website under On Demand, and you can look up the site. The podcast is called There Is a Way Out. I've got 30 episodes on there now. One of my favorites is one with my sister on it, which I'm extremely proud of it. My sister was so honest with me, and we did that, Joe. We did that about 4 years ago, and I replayed it just the other day, and I was listening to my sister, and she was brilliant. And she was honest. And so that's what I'm really proud of as well. I try to share it with people on my Facebook page as well. You can go on there and listen. And you can also, if you feel like it, you can go on Facebook and you can look for my own page called There Is a Way Out. It's a group page. You're welcome to be in it. You don't have to say your name. You can be anonymous. You don't have to be like me, an alcoholic. You can be someone that supports others. It's a cool group, and it's really positive. And I think you're a member of it, Joe, right?
Yeah, sure am.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's nice to read about other people. I like posting sobriety birthdays of others. And once again, it's an anonymous thing. If you want your name mentioned, you mention your name. If you don't, you don't. That's part of what our program is all about.
Absolutely. Well, I believe we've covered everything, my friend, unless you can think of anything else.
No, I can't. I so appreciate you giving me this chance to, sort of plug my podcast. But I also appreciate the memories that you brought back of when I was with DSC and when you and I met. I remember you interviewed me at Dave & Buster's right before I got my job in Fargo. Can I tell that story real quick? I'll be fast.
Yeah.
I was working at that bill collecting place, which was right across the parking lot from Dave & Buster's. And I got a phone call from a guy who used to live in San Diego, who went to that American Dream Broadcasting School. He went there at night. He was the night student. He turned out that he has a show in Fargo called the Ben and Jim Show, and he was looking for a producer. And he called me and said, "What do you think about coming out here?" I said, "Fargo?" And he goes, "Yeah, we need a producer, and we know who you are. I used to work with you years and years and years ago." And I said to myself, "Fargo, huh?" He goes, "Yeah, well, think about it." So I thought about it. I took the job. I had a plane ticket waiting for me. I went home to where I was living at that time, and I plugged in the movie Fargo, and I paused it, freeze framed it 15 seconds in, and I went, "What am I doing?
Sure.
What am I doing?" Because I don't know if you remember Fargo, but the first 20 seconds is dismal and cold and blizzardy and shit. And
but you know what? You made the jump and you didn't end up in a wood chipper.
Yeah. You know, I had never seen snowfall. I had never been in weather colder than 38 degrees on the plus side. And man, what an experience. So thank you, Joe, for Joe came out. Long story to put that short. He came out and interviewed me at Dave & Buster's right before I left. And that was special.
That's right. So you were referencing Ben Ziegler and Jim Babbitt, right?
Yes, Ben and Jim.
Still got it. Still got
You were on that show. You remember you called when I first started?
Yeah, I remember.
I remember.
And they're like, "What the heck did you guys do?"
I remember.
I supported that, man.
No, I know you did. I know you did.
Well, I'm gonna shut her down now, buddy. I really
sorry
really
if I was on
appreciate
sorry if I was on too long. I blabbed too much, as you can tell.
Well, we're at 32 minutes right now, and I'm happy. I think we've covered a lot, and I'll send you the link. You can share it. In case anybody missed it, please, once again, smash that subscribe button, and you can X out of here, buddy. Yeah. And
Thank you, pal.
I'll roll the outro, and we'll be done.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man. See you
Soon.
soon.
See you.
Bye.